with the turnover. He had the big interception for a touchdown last week.
On the field was a fumble recovered by the defense for a first down.
This time forced the fumble and recovers it.
Huge play again from Frazier, and that's absolutely a foul. He was in there right away. It looks like that was some sort of little RPO, and Jones wanted to pull that ball out and get it down the field. But the problem is that you're not blocking the defensive end, and Frazier does exactly what he's supposed to do. Do not stop or hesitate. He goes right in, attacks the football, and creates another huge fourth quarter turnover. My goodness, Frazier's having a huge impact on this defense here in back-to-back weeks.
And they needed that one. Under 6.5 minutes, third turnover of the day. 2 interceptions thrown by Landry Jones, and then that fumble. And this one bounces off the fingertips of K'Wan Gardner.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete forward pass. Second down.
Brock, you're with a hero again.
It was the interception last week, a big one in the end zone. That one, you're right on top of the quarterback again. How?
Had to lock in. Felt like I needed to make a big play. I told number 91, I said, watch this. Went out and made it happen.
Yes, you did. Catch your breath. Good luck.
Another big turnover created by Frazier. The offense trying to take advantage, and once again, Gardner drops it. And they needed that one. Under 6.5 minutes.
Nice job by Silver, stepping up in the pocket, dumps it out. A little bit ahead of his back. Gardner unable to bring that one in. Gardner, normally a sure-handed guy, missed practice on Monday with a little bit of a bum ankle. And the frustration mounting here offensively for Seattle. But this is certainly an area of the field where you would think like you can get 4 down, so you don't need all 10 of these yards. You can get half of it. That'd be a quality play.
Evan Rodriguez, the tight end, trying to fight for yardage and doesn't get much. Asante Brown on the stop.
Trips right beta. 22 scat, levels, dragon. Number 20, you got a flat route, right? Let's go. Trips right beta, 22 scat, levels. What?
Obviously 4 down territory, down 9. Silver's too hot for Kroll, and they'll turn it over on downs after the turnover.
What a stop for Dallas. Kroll running across the middle. That's one of those passes you got to make, you got to connect on. Silvers may have just thrown this a little too hard, but Nagel's got to come up with that. You're coming across the middle. You know you're going to get hit, and you know that ball is going to be thrown hard because of the tight windows and the space in there, and all you need is that conversion. And Silver's very frustrated as he heads over to the bench.
And so Dallas survives. Take it back at the 27. Lance Dunbar falling on top of people, given 5 yards on that run. And just a little housekeeping. Dean Blandino corrected it. That even though it bounced in the field of play and rolled through the end zone, it still comes out to the 35 on a punt. Had it happened on a kick, it would have gone to the 15.
Yeah, the kickoff.
So I was incorrect.
That'd be a minor touchback, but the punt, it's just anything. Goes out of bounds inside the 35, rolls into the end zone. It all comes out to the 35.
We'll all learn it together. Here's Cameron Artis Payne. Stiff arm.
Come on, no.
Got the first down.
This is when it pays to have a veteran quarterback, because with the clock rules, it's tough to bleed the clock here in the XFL. But as much as you can, you got a guy like Landry Jones who can control things out on the field. He can control the tempo. He can control even the defensive look, where he's going with the football, whether he wants to run it or throw it. High percentage throws at that.
And he's also able to play with a sense of calm. Draw play, Lance Dunbar. Short pickup of 2.
Here's the basics, guys. If you see 2 safeties up in the middle of the field, they're going to run the football. The reason is because there's only 6 guys in the defensive front, and they've got 6 blockers with the 2 backs in the backfield and the 5 offensive linemen. You can hand one off, and you've got 6 to block 6. So if Landry sees that, he's going to be running the football. It's incumbent on those Seattle front players to get off blocks and try to make plays like they were just able to do. But this is the entire game now is in Landry Jones's hands. The tempo of the game, the play calls, whether he wants to just maybe signal for a little bit of a hot route on the outside or a little flat route, a hitch route. And this second half has been more of what we saw from the fourth quarter of last week against Los Angeles. And now the veteran quarterback really has the game in his hands.
And they forced Seattle to use a timeout there as well. Cameron Artis-Payne cuts it back into the open field. Artis-Payne down inside Seattle territory, inside the 30-yard line. 31 yards on that run.
What a great block from Lance Dunbar in the backfield. He chopped down, looked like Frazier. Watches, he's coming across, and he's just going to get this block. Boom! And that's what allows the cutback for Artis-Payne, who sees the hole. Then he explodes, and he's able to get all the way down the field. Another great block down the field by Joshua Crockett, number 11. And it's a big gain for the Renegades, who, again, back-to-back weeks now, what are they doing? Flexing a little muscle in that run game with their great running backs here in the fourth quarter for Bob Stoops.
And Jeremy Clark is the injured Dragon down on the field right now, and so that'll stop the clock. And yeah, you can see maybe Renegades should just start the game at halftime from now on. I mean, the way they performed the last 2 weeks.
Well, what they're going to do is when they go back and watch this film, it'll be very similar to what they watched last week against the Los Angeles Wildcats. And they're going to think to themselves, why in the world don't we commit to running the football earlier in the game? You know, they opened up this game with 17 passes and 2 rushes on their first 19 plays. At one point in the first half, they had thrown the ball 17 straight times. So I understand it's the air raid and how Mummy wants to throw the football. They've got one of the faces of the XFL at quarterback. But, hey, guess what? It's a good offensive line.
Yeah.
And when you've got the numbers, they certainly have the ability to run the football. Right, Brock?
I think that's exactly the point. Just the demeanor, Joel, of those O-linemen, when they're not just one-dimensional and they can fire off, you have seen that change in this second half as well.
They had 9 yards rushing in the first half. They've got 80 here in the second. Plus a couple of screen plays like that to the running backs. Lance Dunbar.
And Brock, as you know, this only works if you've got unselfish running backs. And Dunbar and Artis-Payne certainly seem to be unselfish. They don't care which one of them are touching it. They'll block for one another, and they're playing really well.
Yeah, I think the Houston Roughnecks receivers may be the single best personnel group that we've seen in the XFL. But second is this running back room. These guys are unselfish. They catch it, they run it, they block. They do everything that's asked, and they've been a central focus here in the second half.
And it helps them bleed clock here as they continue. Dunbar on the run. And you wonder how much of that is helped by the fact that these are guys that have been there.
Timeout in Seattle.
And Seattle uses its
Their second and final
timeout. But you've got Lance Dunbar, who's played in the National Football League. You've got Cameron Artis-Payne, who's played in the National Football League. And so they understand the value of not only a good running game, but being a solid teammate as well.
Well, and think about who Lance Dunbar sat behind, you know, in his career. He was behind guys like DeMarco Murray and Zeke Elliott and Todd Gurley. Cameron Artis-Payne played on a team that went to the Super Bowl, in Super Bowl 50. Now, he wasn't active in that game in the Super Bowl, but he was around under Jonathan Stewart and in that room. So they've learned from pros, and they clearly have brought that pro mentality, that unselfish mentality to this Dallas team. That's something certainly Bob Stoops enjoys and preaches to the rest of his team, and he's got a great model with those running backs.
With this offensive line kind of beginning to impose their will here late in the ball game. And the left tackle move, that'll help Seattle.
Start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Willie Beaver's second time he's been called on that today, and the 5th false start by this offensive line for Dallas.
Yeah, and Landry was trying to change the play, and again the noise affecting him. This building is loud, and the acoustics are tough on the road team. Now on 3rd and 9, I think you got to go to Parham, excuse me. He's your best weapon. He's the one that's been open most of the day. He's tight end to the top of your screen.
big third down here. Draw play, Dunbar. Gets around the edge and moves the chains. How about that run by Lance Dunbar? 10 yards on the run.
This is what happens. You only get 3 players on that side of the ball. Guess what? You got 3 offensive linemen, and they're able to get up and then just run away from the linebacker. Dunbar showing off his speed, and he gets outside and moves the chains. What a gutsy little change up from Landry Jones, who changed that play at the line of scrimmage, decided to hand it off, and it's paid off. And now we're going to find ourselves at the 2-minute warning. Wow.
That's the 2-minute warning.
And so it puts Seattle in the corner. Landry Jones hoping to be able to smile with the ball. Up by 9. 2 minutes left on the clock.
Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. They're slimy. Amphibians. Where are they? Oh, there's one. They're slimy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. They're slimy. Amphibians. Where are they? Oh, there's one. They're slimy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
7 seconds.
Leyes científicas.